Hello, welcome along to another Adventures in Pop. My name's Simon Jacobs, and you're here just in time. And no, thank you. Yes, I am very well. Thanks for asking. I'm very well this weekend, and I'm going to talk about rejects today. We're going to start a little mini series, I think, about songs that didn't make it for whatever reason. Because I think well, first of all, there are quite a lot of them. Let's just kind of cover the basics here. Now, you've heard me talking before about, you know, trying to reach a kind of a certain standard. I talked about it quite a lot at the beginning about, how do I know that a song is good or not good or worthy of release or not? And the answer is I'm not always sure, really, to be honest. And I don't know if I always make the right decisions. And I'm always surprised by seeing something do really well or something that I think should be doing really well do less well. So, it's like I'm surprised either which way because I can't really tell what people are going to make of the songs that I do and that I release. And therefore, I might, it's perfectly possible that I might have in my reject file, and it's quite a big reject file, I might have a number one hit in there, and I don't know, do I? Because I've decided that for whatever reason, it's not good enough to be released. And I'm saying to you, I'm probably quite a bad judge of, like, how popular something's going to be. I can't tell that at all. That hasn't changed. I mean, I'm trying to learn, but I don't think I'm any the wiser so far. So first things first, I think it's perfectly right that for every song that I release, but that I take right through to the end and finish it properly and then decide it's good enough to be released, there are probably at least two or three songs that didn't quite get finished, that I didn't particularly like when I'd finished, or at least maybe I'm halfway through it and I decided it's not really that good, and then my incentive to, really finish it and make it sound gorgeous is rather lesser because I'm just thinking this isn't going to do it. And no matter how much time I spend, polishing it up and making the sound quality gorgeous, the song isn't good enough. So, there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do about that other than chuck it or chuck most of it and start again, or just file it away somewhere and forget about it and go on to the next one. So there's plenty to look at in the old kind of, reject back catalogue file of things that I have not released. Probably much of it for very, very good reasons. And sometimes here and there I can't quite remember what those good reasons are. So maybe slightly less good reasons. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pick one of these today. And then there's plenty more to talk about on other occasions. 3 years ago, I wrote a song called This Is My Wonderful Life, and I liked it enough to kind of finish it and eventually to even make a video of it and stick it out on YouTube, but not to put it on an album, which is an interesting kind of, I like it this much, but not that much. So this is, as I say, this is about 3 years ago. In fact, a bit more than 3 years ago. 3.5 years ago I wrote this. I think I wrote it on an aeroplane. So I wrote it in one of those odd situations where I'm trying to make sense of something in my head. I've got a few hours to spare, but I've got no keyboard, I've got no guitar, I've got no instrument. I'm just sort of trying to invent a song in my head and then remember enough of it or whisper it into my phone. I've done that a million times. So that so I can work out what to do with it, when I eventually get home. This song, This Is My Wonderful Life, as I say, went out on YouTube. You can find it. In fact, I'm going to put it at the end of this video so you can see it for yourself, see it in all its glory from beginning to end, and you can decide whether I made a very, very good decision not to put it out, or whether I'm just crazy and you think it's the best thing ever. In which case, let me know. And then, if I then put it out, and if you persuade me to put it out, then it's a huge hit. Well, you'll have to be rewarded. I don't know how much that would be. Maybe £11.20. I don't know. I don't know what the going rate is. But as I say, I don't really have an intention to put it out just because I'm talking about it. So this is my wonderful life. Let me tell you a little bit about some of the lyrics here. Basically, this is about those situations, those people who use social media to present a perfect view, a perfectly curated, carefully, put together view of the wonderful life that they're having. This is about those people who have pictures of their fabulous, glamorous friends. They're always in fabulous, glamorous places, or taking photographs of their fabulous, glamorous food in restaurants. Yeah, and underneath all that fabulous, glamorous front is quite often somebody who is just thinking, I'm barely coping here, but I've got to give this impression of everything being fine. And look, I think this is the problem with the song. It's a subject that I think we're all kind of familiar with, and I think, although I quite enjoyed writing it, I felt like I'd said something that needed saying. I don't think it's very original. I think other people had made all those comments before about the pressure to to give a perfect impression of a fabulous, wonderful, wealthy, healthy, jet-setting, sort of impossible, ridiculous life. And so, so I think the problem I had eventually with the song was a feeling that it was all a bit overt. It's all there, being said very plainly. And as I think I said before in one of the previous episodes, there's probably not much jeopardy. There's nothing being left particularly to the audience's imagination. That doesn't make it terrible. It means that maybe it's just not saying anything particularly unique. Okay, that's it. So you got to be self-critical. So let's give you some of the words. Let me just find those here. This is my wonderful life. Look at my wonderful life. The food that I eat in wonderful places. The people I meet and beautiful faces. Look hard, there's never a cloud. Oh my Lord, that's me laughing so loud. Look at my perfect husband or wife. This is my wonderful life. So you get the gist. It's kind of sarcastic and heavy with cynicism. Envy my marvellous life, carefully curated by me, so the bad bits you'll never see. Those days of sadness and lonely despair, when 1,000 friends are not really there. On Facebook and Instagram, see how happy I am. So so I'm getting lots of things in there. I'm managing to say a little bit about, taking a photograph of your food, all of that stuff on, Instagram, where it's always a beautiful day and your friends are gorgeous and, everything's perfect. So you'll never see days of sadness and lonely despair. 1,000 friends. Yeah, 1,000 friends. Look, I've got 2 Facebook pages. You're not going to be surprised to know this. One is for music, and one is my personal Facebook, and I do kind of keep them separate. So on my music Facebook page, everybody is welcome, and obviously I don't need to have met everybody on there. That'd be ridiculous, wouldn't it? And a bit crazy. So very different rules. On my own Facebook page, I do have a rule. Maybe I'm just very old-fashioned, but I do kind of have a rule that if you're a friend of mine on my Facebook page, I do have to kind of know you. Is that weird? Am I just very out of touch? No, I think that's a pretty sensible rule. So anyway, so I don't have 1,000 friends who are not really there, because I've got far fewer who are not. Well, actually, I've got some who are there, I think. But I'm just making that point about everyone. It's like those people who they're pleased with themselves because they've got hundreds or thousands of friends, most of whom they don't know at all, and maybe they're fun people to hang out with sometimes. But would you go to them with your deepest, darkest problems or secrets and share? I think possibly not. And then there's all this, traveling the world. And then in the later verse, I talk about, what happens then, if you're one of those people who's presenting yourself all the time in this perfect way on Facebook and Instagram in particular, what happens when you just have a quiet day and you're just going to Sainsbury's to buy some milk and some butter? And that's quite interesting, because there's nothing glamorous about that. You can't. I don't know whether that also goes on Instagram. Here's my trip to Sainsbury's. I don't know. So this is my wonderful life, the days without drama or thrills, when I'm just buying the groceries and paying the bills. Days when you've given up hoping. What's the emoji for not really coping? Yeah, I quite like that line. I think this is a time when emojis were emerging, all over the place, with big, happy, smiling faces, or the occasional crying emoji. But nuance, is there an emoji that says, I'm actually having a bit of a breakdown, and the only way, but I can't tell you about it, I'm just going to give you an emoji and you need to come running. I'm not sure there is one for not really coping. Those days of sadness and lonely despair when 1,000 friends are not really there on Facebook and Instagram, I'm not really sure who I am. Yes, I mean, that's another thing, isn't it? I mean, who is this person you're presenting? I mean, it's a fiction, isn't it? It's gradually becoming less and less like you. You and your fictional self are going two separate ways, and I suspect that's true for a lot of people, or has been. I don't know whether people are getting a little wise to this and realizing that actually that is just fundamentally bad for your mental health. I think we're a little bit more in touch with that now than maybe we were a few years ago, what with one thing and another, like a pandemic. So a jolly song this is, and as I say, I made this video. I made it. It's quite an amateurish video when I look back at it now. It's all stills. It's all bits of photographs. Some of them are not very good quality, but you get the gist. And the music itself it has a sort of a slight reggae feel. I say that with some nervousness, because I think it's like a bit of a hint of a reggae feel. I wouldn't want to claim it as being fantastically, authentically reggae, but it's got that kind of sense to it that you wouldn't know that this is a dark and cynical, bitter little song, unless you actually listen to the lyrics. And so again, it's like the musical coating is trying to hide that fact, as if. So there we go. That is my song. This is my wonderful life. I'm going to just pop the video on for you to have a look at in all its glory, so you can just get the measure of this from beginning to end. And as I say, this was out a few years ago, 3 years ago, and quite a lot of people looked at it on YouTube, and I was quite pleased about that. But I decided it was not up to the standard, whatever that was, and I try and keep that standard moving. You want your standard to keep getting higher if you can. So for some reason, I decided this was not that standard. So if you violently disagree with me, let me know. But I suspect you possibly won't. But it's fun nonetheless, and I think it is quite instructive to go back and see what you were doing, what worked, what didn't work, why you made those decisions, and hopefully in some way, it'll reassure you that possibly what you're doing now is a step or two, better. That standard is getting higher, and that's a very good reassuring kind of notion to keep in mind. So listen, thank you very much indeed. It's always lovely to talk to you. There'll be another one of these coming up very soon, but in the meantime, I will leave you with the original video of This Is My Wonderful Life. And we'll do all of this again soon, so do join me again for another adventure in the next few days, and stay safe, be good, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Look at my wonderful life. The food that I eat, the wonderful places, the people I meet, the beautiful faces. Look hard, there's never a cloud. Oh my Lord, that's me. laughing so loud. And look at my perfect husband or wife. This is my wonderful life. Envy my marvelous life. Carefully curated by me. So the bad bits you'll never see. Those days of sadness and lonely despair, when 1,000 friends are not really there. On Facebook and Instagram, can you see how happy I am? See how I travel the world. So many places that you've never been. In so many ways I'm living the dream. I publish the pictures as proof. I want to obscure the uncomfortable truth. On Facebook and Instagram, I'm not sure I know who I am. So this is my wonderful life. The days without drama or thrills, when I'm just buying the groceries and paying the bills. Days when you've given up hoping. What's the emoji for not really coping? Those days of sadness and lonely despair, when 1,000 friends are not really there. On Facebook and Instagram, yeah, that's me. Can you see how happy I am?